Okay. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm hella annoyed about re-recording this fucking video. So I filmed this earlier, but I had friends calling me on fucking FaceTime. Yeah, so that fucked with the video. So I'm having to re-record this video, which I'm not happy about, but it's what fucking is. So I had a, okay, so this person, okay, so I saw this story on Reddit and it was really fucked up. And I asked the person, I was like, yo, can I share it? And they're like, yes. Okay, so disclaimer. I'm gonna give this person credit because I got the permission. A lot of these other stories, like I didn't get the people's permission, but I mean, but you know, it's what it is. Okay, let me read this one. And I did read one earlier about FaceTime that's fucked up, which I'm gonna read also. I don't know if I'm doing this one or another one. Hold up. Okay. No, guys, this story. Ooh. Okay. Hold up. Okay. I'm gonna let. Okay. Disclaimer. This story I'm about to read is really fucked up. Like, it's hella fucked up. It's gonna change the way I look at a fucking animal. So let me see, what is this, Tam? Okay. Alright. Okay. Hold up. Okay. Oh gosh. And it's hella long. Okay. And it's called Mr. Deer. Okay. This story took place when I was a kid. We lived in a small house in the suburbs. My parents, my big brother Jack, and I. We were difficult kids. We would get into fights or skip school quite often, which drove our parents insane. One time I broke Jack's Game Boy. He got so angry he hit me in the head with a baseball bat. He was gone for over a month, and I still have a small scar over my left eyebrow. Apart from stories like that, we were pretty close. My brother and I, Jack, would always defend me against bullies and help me with my homework. Our family life wasn't perfect, but we loved each other, and that's what counts. Anyway, we were about 8 and 12 years old. My brother and I were plagued by terrible nightmares. We'd often wake up at the same time, drenched in sweat. Most of the times we couldn't remember what was so scary, but when he did, we were terrified to find out how similar our dreams were. The details were different, but they almost always featured some kind of dark entity, like a shadow, that was creeping around the house, watching us sleep, waiting for something. Sometimes we would even see his face, which wasn't actually a face, more like the skull of a deer. Also, in some dreams, he had antlers. That's why we started calling him Mr. Deer. We told our parents about him, but they shrugged it off and said something along the lines like, we probably have seen the same horror movie. The dreams got more frequent, and the creature came closer every time. It got so bad that sometimes I started crying when we were supposed to go to bed. But Jack always calmed me down, saying that he protected me and that they were just dreams. One night, however, there was no nightmare. I slept like a baby. I think I even dreamt of something nice this time. I got feeling relaxed and happy, bearing a little hope that the nightmares have stopped for good. I dressed and went downstairs for breakfast. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a heads up. This is where shit goes fucking right. When I fucking read this, I was like, oh shit. Okay. There at the far end of the table said Mr. Deer. I couldn't believe my eyes, but there he was, complete with a deer skull face and antlers. His shadowy figure had a blurry outline that was always shifting, like he was made out of black smoke, just like in dreams. Next to Mr. Deer sat my brother Jack. He was quiet and had tears in his eyes. Across from Jack sat my father. His face contorted into the most forced, tense smile I've ever seen. My mother stood next to the stove smiling, that same terrible smile, with her eyes ripped wide open. Oh, good morning, Sam, she said in a grotesque, friendly tone. Her voice was shaking. I panicked and wanted to run, but my mother put a hand on my shoulder. No, don't be rude to our guest. Be a good boy and sit down. Looked at her. Behind that terrible smile, I could see that she was She was extremely scared. Her eyes were watering up. It looked like she was made to smile like this by some unseen force. I looked at my brother. He nodded, so I sat down. I looked at Mr. Deer. He just sat there. His breathing was slow, deep and heavy. It sent shivers through my body. I think I have never been so scared in my whole life. My brother looked at me, and and even though he must have been terrified, he tried to put on a tough face. There you are, Mr. Deer. I hope you like my cooking. My mother said as she put a plate in front of Mr. Deer. I was shocked to see that there on the plate lay our dog, Rusty, motionless. I started to cry silently. I'm not gonna read like that part because I do not like animal cruelty. I fucking love dogs and cats. Like I'm be 100. When I see those commercials with dogs and cats, ASPC, they make me cry. Like no, okay. Oh my god. When Mr. Deer was finished with his meal, my mother asked, "Well, did you like it? Was it okay?" Mr. Deer took a deep breath and with a natural deep voice, he said, "I'm not yet satisfied." "Well, what more could you want?" my mother asked. "I want the children." My father said nervously. "Now wait a minute, that was not an agreement. You can't just..." Mr. Deer lifted his hand and all of a sudden Mom and Dad froze. Their movement stopped completely. My dad was half standing up with his mouth still open, like somebody pressed stop on a remote. Mr. Deer rose from his chair and walked over to us right through the table, just by through it like a fucking ghost. My brother and I screamed and we jumped up. We ran for the front door, but it was locked. We wanted to get the key, but Mr. Deer already stood in the hallway, so we chose the only option left and ran up the stairs. We ran to my room and locked the door. In panic, I cried and screamed, but my brother held me tight, telling me to calm down. "It's going to be okay, trust me." We could hear Mr. Deer's heavy breathing coming closer. Suddenly, there was a loud knock at the door. We were sitting on my bed, holding each other. Then a black smoke-like substance started coming through the keyhole with a hissing sound. It pulled on the floor, building up to a form. "He's coming! What do we do?" I yelled. My brother reached behind me, opened up the window, and my panic, I haven't even thought about that. He looked me in the eye and said, "When you get down, promise me one thing." "What?" I asked. "Run." With that, he pushed me out the window. I fell pretty deep and landed in a thorny bush. Jack closed the window behind me. "Jack," I yelled. Then I heard Jack scream. That same noises from before started again, and gushes of blood painted the inside of the window. "Jack!" I screamed at the top of my lungs. No answer. I didn't want to, but I kept my promise and started running out of our yard, down the road, hysterically crying for help. Then suddenly I woke up. It took me a minute. Then I realized it was all just a dream. I sighed deeply with relief. I went downstairs to get some breakfast. I entered the kitchen hesitantly. There my parents were sitting at the table just like always, and everything seemed normal. "Mom, Dad, I had a terrible dream again. Where is Zach? I want to tell him it too." "Who's Zach?" I mean, who is Jack? My dad said. "What do you mean? Jack, my brother." My parents looked at each other confusedly. I thought this was a joke. My parents both claimed that they didn't know who Jack was. I ran into Jack's room. It was an office room, and now all his things were gone. "Jack, where is he?" My parents didn't know what I was talking about. I ran around the house, frankly searching for something, anything, but no matter how hard I tried, I found nothing at all to prove Jack ever even existed. He didn't even show up in any family pictures. The mark on the door frame that showed his growth next to mine had vanished. So our dog Rusty was nowhere to be found, and his ball and his basket were gone too. What the hell was going on? My parents got a little worried. They told me that it was probably all just part of the dream, that I've always been an only child and that we never had a dog. I screamed and cried. So basically, this kid threw a big ass tantrum. Yeah. Yeah. And they send him to a child psychologist. And then he like gets therapy, medications. As I grew older, life threw new problems at me. I got tired and started saying to myself that maybe it was really all just a dream, just a weird false memory that my mind clings to for some reason. Sometimes when I'm alone for too long, I get all fired up again. It all seems so real. I remember how I grew up with Jack, how we played and walked to school together. We told each other scary stories at night. And now, and now the hell did I get the scar that I see every morning? I look in the mirror, my parents claim they don't know where it came from. How do you forget your child got a scar on his face? Jack, where are you? I miss you. Honestly, that like fucking scared the fuck out of me. The fact that this kid, like, was him and his brother, they were dreaming about this shadow person, and then in the dream he had the shadow person like killed his brother, and then he wakes up and the parents are like, oh, your only child, and we never had a dog. Like shit like that's hella fucking creepy. Yes, it is. Yeah, it is hella. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna read some more, but because the story was hella fucking long, I'm basically gonna end on that note. But guys, anyway, I'm so glad I saw the story as this person, you know. I mean, I honestly think, I'm so glad that this dude let me use this story, but the whole time I'm just getting chills. Like, I'm not kidding. This is gonna change the way I look at fucking deer. What the fuck? Yeah. It's gonna change the way I look at fucking deer. Yes, it is. It is. I can't imagine having a dream like that as a kid. Because when you're a kid, like, shit like that will seriously traumatize you. Yeah. I know this video was hella short, guys, but anyway, guys, you know the drill. Like I said, I'm gonna repeat myself again. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, guys. I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers so I can get ads from YouTube. Yeah, because I want to be an influencer, and I think reading these stories is my calling, along with working on my book, which I started doing today. Anyway, guys, love you. Peace.